it's a satanic music industry. That's majority of what it is.
These artists have just gotten darker and darker as time has gone by, to the point where these performances look like scenes from horror movies. This has convinced many people, including myself, that these artists aren't just putting on a performance, but conducting a real occult ritual. Rituals that are being powered using the crowd that shows up at these events.
Being in rooms at the top of the top, which albums are prayed over demonically. Music is prayed over demonically. That goes out to the world, goes out to the radio stations, goes out to the public.
Music and entertainment plays a huge part in our lives. We can say that music is now an inseparable part of every aspect of our life. When we are happy, we listen to music. When we are sad, we listen to music to feel better. Music is part of our events like weddings, birthdays, and even funerals. Music is played in the background everywhere, when you shop, when you are put on hold, when you are in a taxi. Music has abilities to take us back in time to the past events and invoke specific emotions and memories. However, music is also spiritual and one of the weapons of the enemy. For a long time, music has been used by the enemy as a weapon and carefully crafted distraction. We all know how music has been shaping our culture and influencing people's behaviors. Worship music is still a powerful tool for believers. However, the music that is around us is created to worship other kingdom, the kingdom of the prince of this world, Satan. We know from the Bible that Satan was an angel responsible for the worship of God in heaven, possessing all musical gifts that exist. Therefore, it is obvious that he would use what he knows best, music and sound. Contrary to what people think or try to justify, music industry is not here to better us, to uplift us, or to bring us closer to God. Even when the music sounds beautiful, the lyrics are acceptable talking about love or similar, it is still deception. It doesn't have to be obvious like heavy metal or rock to be demonic, but also nice and catchy tunes we hear around us. When we listen to music, we not only enjoy the artist, their voice, visuals, but we also engage in the spirits that operate in that person. I think there has been a lot of controversy around some artists selling their souls or selling particular agenda. When you think about that aspect, your soul is your will, thoughts, and emotions. Selling your soul doesn't mean that you go to the devil and bargain for it, but more you compromise on your moral compass. You allow to be used as his representative and promoting the culture and the agenda that he wants. You become a puppet for the industry. This doesn't happen very obviously though. You have to remember that the devil always masquerades itself as an angel of light. So it will be done very subtly. Let's change this about your appearance. Let's maybe do this to change it up. Let's shock them to bring more people. The artist might not be aware what is happening because they will be blinded by events, money, clothes, glam and glitz. And then, slowly, their behavior and character will change. Spirits are attached to music and artists, just like we see in the Bible. Then it happened, when the musician played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. 2 Kings 3 verse 15. When musician played, it allowed for the hand of the Lord, so the Spirit, to come upon the prophet Elijah. Similarly, in 1 Samuel, we see that the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and he was filled with a distressing spirit. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and a distressing spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servant said to him, "Surely a distressing spirit from God is troubling you. Let our master now command your servants who are before you to seek out a man who is a skillful player on the harp. And it shall be that he will play it with his hand when the distressing spirit from God is upon you, and you shall be well." And so it was, whenever the Spirit from God was upon Saul, that David would take a harp and play it with his hand. Then Saul would become refreshed and well, and the distressing spirit would depart from him. 1 Samuel 16, verse 14 to 18. How come this was possible? When we look at the physics, spirits are energy, and energy travels through light and sound, therefore sound waves. When we listen to music, depending on what type of music we listen, we invite the spirits behind those waves. Music, therefore, is very important in a spiritual realm. It's a wave of traveling of the spirits through different waves of the music and energy. Not only it can attract unwanted spirits that can then influence our behavior, but also music with words can bring on a different meaning, witchcraft. Of course, I am not implying that all music is witchcraft, but it's very much used as one of the weapons in Satanic Kingdom. Therefore, we have to be very selective of what we listen to and influence our thoughts and brains. We know that words have power, and in witchcraft, spells and curses are used as a way to weaken believers. Through listening to specific music, not only you open doors to demons and give them legal rights, but you also allow curses to be spoken or sung over you and your family members. You might be singing the song with words like, "I'm dying for you," or "I can't breathe," because the song is catchy, without realizing that you are speaking curses over yourself. If you don't renounce it or cancel it, you automatically agree with them and their consequences and give demons legal rights to your life. Music concerts are in reality demonic altars where people worship not the artist, but the spirits behind the artist. These artists get their power from spirits and from the marine kingdom, which, by the way, is a real kingdom. However, it's not the artist that is receiving the worship, but those demons. The artist we see is just the packaging, a vessel through which those spirits express themselves. And even if someone thinks that they are in control, it's all them. The oppression starts very subtly and slowly, and soon enough, we start seeing those changes in the artist. It starts with outward changes first, masked as little correction of the image, then the lyrics change, then the theme of the music. But behind closed doors, those artists are often depressed, anxious, unhappy, unfulfilled, and feeling empty. Because the only way you can feel fulfilled and happy is through the kingdom of God, not the kingdom of Satan. However, the compromise is to leave what you love, which many people are not prepared to do so. This is not only within the music industry, of course, but also with movies, business, fashion, any type of industry that tempts with money, fame, and luxurious life. When you think about that tactic, it will take you to the story of Jesus and Satan. But Satan tempted Jesus and took him on a hill and asked him if he would worship him, and all this would be his. All Satan wanted was to be worshipped. Therefore, worship is very important in a spiritual realm. Worship feeds those demons. Worship and our emotional state is what those demons crave. Therefore, any type of emotion that emerges from the movies, music, or performances, this is food for the spirits. Therefore, this is not a coincidence that music and entertainment has been so powerful and successful for decades now. Music and entertainment created this illusion in a world of empty worship, success, and pride. Artists are able to change, to play the part, to create the persona they are, not behind closed doors. This also leads to confusion and expectations of always being that person, which leads to slowly losing your true self. Similarly, in movies, actors that play the part will have spiritual implications and consequences from the role they are playing. It might be just acting, but not in spiritual world. All words that come out of our mouth will shape our reality to some extent. Notice how movies like Aquaman, Avatar the Water, Wakanda Forever, All Little Mermaid are all those innocent stories and fairy tales that hold heavy spiritual truths and spirits behind. It is done in a way where no one would suspect anything, and if anyone mentions, it's either met with mockery or disbelief. This is exactly how Satan wants to keep it, pretending it doesn't exist and it's only story for the movies. We can find a lot about Satan's kingdom and his plans through movies or cartoons, The problem is no one is taking it seriously and only sees it as entertainment. Notice the word entertainment. Enter, you are allowing it to enter. The word tainment means to lead on, to bring along, to introduce, to meet or encounter as an enemy. So in short, enter to meet as an enemy. From my experience, after engaging in the spiritual warfare and taking it seriously, I have noticed that every time I allow myself to relax a bit, and after listening to some artist or watching a movie that might have some lustly undertones, I will always experience night attacks. I know I'll have to pray more and fast to get rid of those spirits. It's like if you go to an environment with some bacteria and viruses, there is a big chance you will catch something. We can't see those viruses, but that doesn't mean they are not there. Once you get ill and have a fever, you know you must have been in the area or maybe engaged with someone who was ill. You don't question it if it's real just because you can't see it, but you know that you have a fever. In the same way, you can be affected spiritually. However, you first have to know those small changes in your usual behavior, thoughts, or urges. It's not accidental and cannot be ignored. Once you have been participating in spiritual warfare, you feel it when you have an unclean spirit that entered your body. People should really start taking it more seriously. However, in Christianity, many people are on the false assumption that the label of Christian covers them and protects them from any attacks. I can guarantee that if you just engage in the spiritual warfare, if you increase your prayer life, if you start fasting, the enemy will quickly show you that they are in fact real, because they will not like what you do. Remember, we engage in a battle that cannot be won with human effort and with carnal weapons. It requires self-control, humbleness, fasting, praying, consistency, and faith, even if we don't see immediate results. The enemy is always looking for an opportunity to exploit our weaknesses, to get us into our flesh, and to put us in a covenant where curses can land. By remaining spiritually alert and discerning, we can stand firm against the enemy. It's a battle.